Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out GoNNER. From the same people who made Shu, which I checked out recently on the Vita. This is on the Switch, though, unfortunately. It's not coming to the Vita, although that's... well, considering my opinion on the game, not the worst thing in the world. Let's go have a quick look around. You can change the sound levels. That's good. You can go into the gameplay and turn off the screen shake and the rumble. That's alright, I guess. Graphics is a little weird. You can... like, I mean, what sort of game lets you turn off bloom, contrast, and AA? Especially in a game like this. It just seems a little bit odd. But, okay. Not too much of an argument from me. There is a daily challenge that you can do, but it actually lets you do it more than once. And I'm going to do it at least once in this video because it has a weapon that I haven't unlocked in the main game yet. There is also the ability to go to the death area, but I don't think I get to go there. Oh no, I am actually in the death area, that's good. Oh yeah, I forgot I had this thing. So, when you're in the death area, this is basically where you pick your starting loadout. And your starting loadout is 3 things. A head, which is this one. I now have 3 hearts. The one directly above me is 1 heart, and the one directly above me now is 5 hearts. You also have different kinds of weapons. I have 3 out of 6, and you also have different kinds of active abilities, represented as backpacks, and there are multiple of these as well. I'll take the one that stops time, because it's pretty useful, and we will go straight into the game. There is actually a secret area you can find around here, which will start a game which is way harder than the default difficulty. Just FYI if you want to know how to look for that. So GoNNER is a roguelite platformer shooter. I don't even want to call it a roguelike because it doesn't share that many things with a roguelike. It's just the levels are procedurally generated. They're not the same each time, which is okay, but it doesn't really do that much else. All the weapons are preset, all the items are preset, all of that. There's not that much in the way of stats or anything. It's all just pre-made stuff just with a little bit of level generation. I'm going to avoid that because I'm going to get hurt if I try that. You have 3 main controls. You have the ability to jump, shoot, and use your backpack's ability. And that's it. There doesn't seem to be that much else in the way of controlling yourself in this game. And you can only shoot left and right. You cannot shoot upwards or downwards. Unless you have a specific head. But I don't have that specific head yet, which is annoying as shit. Because unlocking stuff in this game is predetermined. There's no, like, random system, unlike like Binding of Isaac. There is some stuff you can unlock by doing specific goals in the game, but I don't have that much of that stuff done yet either. That is pretty much how everything in this game is handled. Like, for example, this backpack that I've got, I had to get through... I didn't know how to get it at first, which was a little annoying. Shit. I didn't know how to get it at first, which was a little annoying, but then then I got through the first level really fast, and I'm dead. That sounds about right. I actually collected enough glyphs to revive, though. We'll get onto how that works shortly. But yeah, the unlock system in this game is just kind of annoying because of... well, there's a few things. One, some of your weapons are actively better than others. Like, for example, this shotgun here is way beyond the basic pistol. The basic pistol has a ton more shots, but this obviously fires out 5 or 6 shots in one burst. And it can kill pretty much anything in one shot. Meanwhile, you're sitting around just constantly firing at this giant group of enemies with the regular pistol, and not one of them is dying because everything in this game takes a few shots, or you're just wiping the floor with everyone with the shotgun. There are some other kinds of weapons as well which aren't as situationally useful, like, for example, there's a gun that fires an energy beam straight across the screen, but it makes you a lot slower. The shotgun has a little bit of a kickback. There's a couple of other things. I believe there's a grenade launcher as well. Basically, what the developer did with the email they sent me with the review code for this game was, hey, here's a link to the Steam guide that basically covers everything about this game. And I'm like, okay. And I looked at it after a little bit of playtime, and it really wasn't much that I couldn't figure out by myself. So, these glyphs... what these glyphs do is, they are basically money, but as you saw, if you die with enough of them, you'll revive. But of course, you'll lose the glyphs. I'm actually going to take a different special ability here. You've seen the time stop, and now you're going to see the shark fin, which is basically just well, actually, you know what? I can actually show you here. I just fired off like 6 shots in a row, because that's the thing that the shark fin does. This is actually a boss fight coming up, because I've managed to get through the first area relatively easily, although I have died once, which is kind of annoying. Boss fights are pretty simple. There's a big guy and a couple of big guys, a lot of small guys, and you just have to get in there and beat the shit out of everyone involved. Very simple concept. Thankfully, I have figured out the trick to beating this boss, which is literally just sit on the wall, wait until you've got a good shot, and then shoot everything that you can. And that's pretty much it. The gunplay itself, though, is pretty good. Each of the guns feels good to fire. Other than the main pistol, they all do a significant amount of damage. Hey, beautiful. Kiss, kiss. Yay! I got lots more shotgun ammo. Hurrah! If you bring along the ball backpack, by the way, you can play volleyball with her. It's supposed to unlock something, apparently, according to the guide, but oh well. And we just move on to the next world. I've been to the end of the second world. But other than that, I haven't been able to get much further. The game doesn't actually have that many worlds according to the Steam achievements, so it's got something like 4 worlds. Which, alright, like 4 worlds isn't too bad. But as I was saying, the actual gunplay is pretty good. All the guns feel pretty heavy, do decent amounts of damage for their individual gun types. All of the usual things are there, and it's all nice and easy. There are a lot of enemies, but the problem with all the enemies is that their AI is actually kind of retarded. The only thing that makes facing these guys even remotely challenging is that they throw so many at you at once that it's really hard to keep track of all of them. Like on the first level, you might have noticed, I should say, you might not have noticed, but you could have noticed that there are these enemies that just come down from the ceiling and try and crush you, and they can be mixed in with like 3 other kinds of flying enemies that will just absolutely own your ass. And this happens a lot in this game because of the way the procedural generation works, and it really sucks. Combine it with the fact that you just saw there that the invincibility in this game that you get after you die is a bit shit because it doesn't get anything out of your way, and you can easily get comboed into losing all your hearts. And this is with Brick. Brick is a bit different in comparison. Brick is the name of the head, by the way. Brick is a lot different in comparison to the other types of playing, only because of the fact that Brick doesn't lose his head when he gets hit. Now, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with anything? Well, the way it works with all the other heads in the game is that if you get hit with another head, and I can't go any further than this, unfortunately, I am dead. And I just have to try again. It'll give me the same stuff I picked at death, and I can just go straight back out, which is nice. With all the other heads, if your head gets shot off, everything will fly away. Your weapon, your backpack, and your gun. It'll all fly in a completely different direction. And you will have to go and get it all back before you can, you know, actually use it again. However, if you get hit in this down state, you instantly die. No matter how much health you had left on your head, that's it, you're done, game over. Feels kind of unfair, honestly, just because considering how hard it is in this game to actually move on in the first place, just because of, well, to move around in the first place, I should say. Like, look at this. I can't safely get up this thing until these guys come down here, which kind of sucks. But considering that the game is relatively challenging to get around the fact that you can be surrounded by enemies really quickly, is what I'm trying to say. And if you get surrounded by enemies really quick, there's not much that you can do about losing your head and then immediately getting hit by something else. Like, even if it's just one enemy you get hit by, that one enemy doesn't get knocked back or anything. So you can end up getting hit by the same enemy that just hit you the first time. And that really grinds my gears. Just because it doesn't really give you that much opportunity to get out of the way of anything. Not to mention your mercy invincibility doesn't last very long, and it just feels really unfair. Combine this with the fact that you have to get close to a lot of enemies a lot of the time, because the only way you can earn these glyphs, which are your money, aka your revival tokens, or whatever the bloody hell you want to call them, if you want to get them, you have to get really close to enemies really quickly, because if you don't do that, you will not be able to get a lot of enemies chained together, and the only way to earn a chain and to get a glyph is to kill 5 of these enemies in a row. So you have to get as close as you possibly can to all these enemies that want to kill you, and your Mercy Invincibility will fuck you at one point and you will probably die. Combine that with the level design, making it so that there's often a ton of enemies really close to each other, and the only, it seems, reasonable way is just to dive right in. Combine it with that, and you've got a recipe for a really bad time. It just makes the game more frustrating than fun, is what I'm trying to say, because having to deal with all this shit on top of each other just makes it a real pain in the ass. At least it's got the benefit of you don't have to drop into an area until you're absolutely sure that you'll be safe. I might as well show you a different weapon. So yeah, this is the laser cannon. Chances are I'm not going to live through this fight, but I should have enough glyphs to resurrect if I need to. Just combine all those things about the gameplay together. Also the fact that you have to go through the same levels over and over again, and the level generation really isn't that good, so you end up in a situation where you just end up playing through what feels like the same levels over and over again. They are not technically the same levels. Yep, I just wandered right into that guy. I'm an ass. Yeah, combine that with the levels combine that with the levels being so... Like, procedural generation just kind of sucks, because if you've got all these levels, but you don't add enough pieces, and you don't add enough enemies, it makes it feel really damn boring. Because, of course... Shit. Because, of course, you end up in a situation where everything just repeats itself, or everything just feels like it repeats itself over and over again. You just end up getting stuck in that situation, and it gets really boring really quickly, because you end up having to replay the same damn shit over and over again. It doesn't feel like there's any variety. The gunplay gets old, everything gets old. It just kind of sucks, honestly. So this is a different kind of weapon, the one that I haven't unlocked yet, and you'll be able to see how the vulnerability systems and all that work normally in this game. Also with a couple of enemies I haven't seen before, but of course, it puts one of these bastards right here. So as you can see, I have no head. I have to collect everything before I actually get my health back. And I'm dead again. And of course, it only gives me the thing that lets me get a free ammo pack, so I end up being in a really bad position here. This weapon's a bit annoying just because it takes so long to fire. I imagine that the... What's it called? No, there's nothing up here. I imagine that the shark fin power-up would work pretty well here. So, if you just... Whoa! That guy didn't die. I did not see that. And I have no gun. Where's my gun? Oh, nope, I've got my gun now. And I was facing in the wrong direction. Being able to lock your direction would actually be pretty nice. So... Oh yeah, I forgot. Those graves kill you. Because of course they fucking do. Bloody destroyed gravestones kill you. That's annoying as hell. I'll try that one more time, but the levels that it generates are actually exactly the same, as you can see, so... Well, actually, you can't see it yet, but if I go to the next level, you'll be able to see that it's got that big guy, it's got a couple of small guys flying around, and there's the gravestones. So, yeah. I don't think this game has very long longevity just because of how all the levels are so similar and the gunplay just can't make up for it. It's decent gunplay, but it's nothing that I want to keep coming back to, and with the levels being as dull as they are, it just it just gets boring after a while. Combine that with the fact that the only other thing in the game to really give the game any longevity is a high scoreboard that isn't even in this version yet. Like, you earn score when you have a single glyph, or whatever the bloody hell the game wants to call them, and you can obviously go on the leaderboard and try and get more points and all that, but at the same time, it's procedural generation, and the majority of stuff that leads to your points is the majority of stuff that leads to points is getting enemy combos. So the problem with that, there's bloody ghosts in here, isn't there? The problem with that is you end up in a situation where someone who gets luckier than you will actively get more points than you. It's not like the Binding of Isaac, where you end up in the same situation. You can take it in so many different ways, and that can affect your final score, and that's what makes the daily challenge mode of that game so engaging, because it isn't so much pure luck as much as good luck and good strategy. In this game, it's just pure luck, because if you end up with a shotgun weapon in an area that's really good with a shotgun and you get a ton of money and another guy doesn't, well, tough tits. And I don't like it. I do not like that. I don't like that kind of design, which is relying on a person's good luck more than anything else. For all those reasons alone, I find it relatively hard to recommend GoNNER. It's okay for the first couple of hours, but once I've been playing this, yeah, I did say I've been playing this for about 2 hours at this point, didn't I? But yeah, after the first couple of hours, you'll have seen everything the game has to offer. Just, other than, like, a couple of extra enemies and weapons and stuff like that. Like, you'll get the general gist of it, and then you'll get bored. And that's pretty much how it's going for me. See, I'm dead. I got charged by the thing before I could get back to my head, and I died. Because that is an annoying goddamn... That's an annoying goddamn feature. Who programmed that in? But yeah. I don't recommend it. I don't think it's worth your time. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.